What is up, guys? We are back with another video finally this week, finally outside. It is 55 right now. The sun is just about setting, but I was able to get out to this customer's property that we completed last spring to show you guys and break down kind of what we did in his 5-acre field that we changed into bedding. Then we lined his food plot with Silky Willows, and then a large barrier where he's kind of been having some problems with his neighbors looking into his property while he's hunting. So we put another 1,000-foot line of Silky Willows there. And so I'm going to kind of be breaking down all of those areas, kind of what we did, the process of what we did. I'm super excited. You guys can probably hear the frogs chirping right now. It is super exciting here because we've had some rain on and off here, some snow on and off here. And so hopefully this is kind of the tipping point where we can start warming up here and spring finally arrives and we can get into the field, start planting here and start planting some Silky Willows. And so we're going to jump over to our food plot area here behind me and around in here. And I'm going to show you guys kind of what we did last year and some improvements that we've made to this area to make it easily accessible. Alrighty, guys, so we have this line right here behind me of Silky Willows. And so as you can see here, is this right here is a 1-year growth of what you guys should be expecting from your Silky Willow hedge. And so as you can see here, we got 3 or 4 really solid branches that are kicking off a lot of offshoots. Now this year, what's going to be really awesome is all of those shoots are going to pop early and they're going to be sprouting and creating a lot of new buds and a lot of new growth. So this year or last year, it got about 3 feet tall. Some of them were really pushing 3 feet, really starting to bush up. So that's really awesome. And this year it's going to double in size. So if this was 2 to 3 feet, now you're looking at 4 to 6 feet of growth, and it's really going to start to fill in with all those branches. And then that following year is where you're really going to see the shrub take place and that hedge area. And that is where you're going to see that hedge finally take place after that 3rd growing season, where you can walk behind it. Deer aren't going to be spooked off. And so what you can see here is this access area on the side, because the food plot is on the inside and on the outside is a great accessing area where the customer can access his stand quietly and not spook deer off the food plot. And that's the main goal of this shrub line, is to make it easily accessible to deer stands and not spooking off deer. And so I'm going to take you over to the shrub here quick. This is a really great example of what these Silky Willows can do within 1 year of growing. Now this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 main shoots coming off of one stump of a 2-foot Silky Willow. So what we did in this process was we ripped the ground with our ripper, then we tilled it, then we laid our ground cover, which was a 6-foot wide fabric. That allowed us to have great spacing, 4-foot spacing in between the 2 double staggered rows of 2-foot Silky Willows. And then we placed them every 2 feet staggering linearly. So when you're trying to figure out the math on how many Silky Willows you'll need to create a line, every 2 feet there will be a Silky Willow. So take your total footage, so let's just say it's 300 feet, you'll need 150 cuttings. That's if you want a nice tight screen. Now if you want a little more spaced out, if you don't need such a tight screen, you can expand that out and do every 3 feet linearly. So then your row spacing will be 6 feet wide. And so that'll be a cutting every 3 feet. And then the 2 rows will still be at 4 feet. But then the spacing between the cuttings in each row will be 6 feet. And so what we did here, we planted our 2-foot Silky Willows and then just left them. Now we started getting worried, like a lot of you probably have seen last year, was the dry conditions, drought conditions. We got really worried because we planted this the second week of May, and we did not see rain for those 2 weeks after. And we started getting nervous that we may have to come back and bring a water wagon and try to water these cuttings, because the big thing with cuttings is they can dry out very rapidly. And so by finally getting water after those 2 weeks by a nice light rain, that's when that customer instantly saw this exponential growth take off. He was starting to get worried. We were starting to get worried. They had a couple little shoots, but they started looking a little wilty. And so we finally got that rain 2 weeks after they were planted, and that's when they skyrocketed. That's when we started getting 3 or 4 limbs. And finally, as you guys could see, after 1 season of growth, you're looking at about 3 feet of growth, 4 or 5 limbs. And then this coming growing season, you're going to really see this take off where it's going to double. Everything's going to double. We kind of say it's just double and exponential growth. You won't think it's very much looking at it now, but come next fall, when you come to plant your food plots and hunt this area, you're going to really notice how much these silky willows have taken off in your area and how much it's screening off finally, even after 2 growing seasons. Now, you may see some screening in that second growing season, but you're really going to see it after that 3rd growing season or your 3rd hunting season. And another thing I want to mention about the silky willows is it is very important to have weed control. The same with switchgrass. Okay, we use 6-foot wide ground cover because we did not want to have weeds creating a competition with our silky willows. And you could see it in the summertime that the weeds were actually overtaking the fabric, and all that the customer had to do was take a brush mower and just brush mow along both sides, and that opened everything right up. You know, it didn't hurt the silky willows. They were still growing, but to be able to get that much more sunlight to those cuttings really helped. And so by having weed control on both the switchgrass and the silky willow lines, that really ups the success rate. I can't stress it enough. Weed control really ups success. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video this week. I know I haven't been posting the past couple weeks. There just really hasn't been a whole lot to post about because it's been busy with trees and tree orders and answering all your guys' emails. But I really, really, really appreciate all the support we've had over the past couple weeks of creating videos. And I can't wait for this weather to finally warm up here where we can get in. We got a couple more projects for customers, and then we also have a ton of stuff to do on the farm. And so I am super excited. Thank you for all the support. Leave a comment. I always read the comments, even if I don't respond. I am just super excited for the spring. I really appreciate all the support, and we will see you guys next week.